Welcome back to another edition of the Washington Nationals here on OOTP 27. And as you can see, we are currently approaching the trade deadline. It is July 28th. We have just one and then one game, a series plus a game left of July. And we have not made any trades yet, so it's time to start looking into that. As far as where we are in the standings, we are sitting first place. Once again, still 3 games in front of the Philadelphia Phillies, who are still majorly outperforming their Pythagorean, a +9. They're projected to be a below 500 team, and instead they're well above 500 at a -44 run differential, 7-2 in extra innings, 30-12 in one-run games. Just crazy stuff. I mean, you got teams all over the place outplaying their Pythagorean. You've got the Mariners are +9 on their Pythagorean. They're a -10 run differential. They're 21-7 in one-run games. But as always, when we get to this time of year and we start looking at what we want to do with our roster and what we want to possibly acquire here at the deadline, it's the same thing yet again this year. The perpetual issue with this team: we need a starter that can start playoff games. As of right now, this Rodemaker spot is Shane Kirby, or George Kirby's spot rather. He is currently on a rehab assignment because he missed like 3 weeks with an elbow strain, so we're just having him pitch a couple games down there, and then we'll call him back up, and he'll take over that #1 spot again. But until he comes back up, right now it's Fluky, Harris, Prelip, and Estes behind him. Estes is the one that I want to remove out of the rotation and put him into the bullpen because he was just much better as a reliever. Some of this is follower, some of this is regular reliever, but he just tends to perform better as just a regular reliever. So that's the way I'm looking at it, is that Kirby is going to slot in here. Fluky and Prelip are going to keep doing their thing as followers. Harris has actually started to turn it a bit around here. If you look at his splits here in July, the ERA is still not great, but the FIP, better than league average. We'll take that. So, you know, I don't want to quite send him down quite yet. And even if he ends up on the rotation for the rest of the season, he's like viewed as like the 5th guy. So, you know, we get to the playoffs, he may or may not be on the playoff roster. We'll have to see how things shake out. But I'm totally fine with rocking something like Kirby, and then these 3 guys, and Fluky, Harris, and Prelip, and then whoever we acquire here at the deadline as like a legitimate guy. Now, what I would want them to be is like a equal of quality sort of guy that George Kirby is. And I feel like we have the prospects to make a move like that. I've kind of been prospect hugging a decent amount in this series, but at this point, like, we have so much pitching prospects that, like, we're never going to be able to play them all, even if a lot of them haven't developed into the starters that I would hope they would develop into. You know, we've got guys that we're not going to be able to play everybody, so, like, if there's somebody out there who's, like, really, really intriguing, I would not shy away from being like, hey, we'll give you a legitimately good pitching prospect that's going to hurt us to lose, but we're also going to get a guy who's going to help us this postseason run. So that's basically the mindset we're heading into here with the trade deadline. Or the mindset we have here heading into the trade deadline is what I meant to say. I can talk, I can speak. Also, I just got to mention, it's currently Memorial Day weekend, which means it's also college baseball conference tournament weekend. I've currently got the MAAC championship game on here, Ryder and Fairfield. It was 6-3 Ryder when I turned this thing on. I was like, hell yeah, New Jersey school, gonna book their ticket, baby. And then all of a sudden, Fairfield's got the bases loaded, some guy comes up, it's just base runner after base runner after base runner after base runner, and then suddenly it's 9-6, and then they go to the bullpen. And also, there was nobody out. It was 9-6 and there's nobody out. What is this manager doing? Just sleeping? Is he asleep in the dugout? Oh my, Jesus Christ, folks. It's still bases loaded. I just look over at my screen, and all of a sudden Fairfield's hitting the ball out in left center field gap. I mean, what are we doing here, folks? I mean, this is ridiculous. Can we just get the Big 12 games up so I can have Mike Rooney on my television? All right, back to taking a look at these pitchers here. And just looking at the pitchers who are on the trade block here, the guys that are like 55 and above, there's only 4 of them. And it's Grayson Rodriguez, who's on Pittsburgh in this. He's an expiring free agent, having a good season. His ratings don't look that special, but, I mean, he's pitching well, and he's a 55. So, and he's also an expiring free agent, so he could be acquirable for us. Are the Pirates any good, is the question. They are not. They are definitely a team that we're looking to trade a guy like this. There is also Shane Bieber, who is wrecked, so that just immediately eliminates him for me. I'm not trying to acquire a wrecked pitcher and trust him down the stretch. And then you've got Carmen Majinski here, who is not an expiring. He has one more year at 18.4, which I'm not sure I want to acquire. And also, what are the Rangers looking like? The Rangers are a bad team. They are underperforming their Pythagorean. They probably should be more in the mix than they are. But, that's up in the air, mainly because I don't know if we want to acquire this guy for another season, but maybe we can. Maybe we'll look into that. We shall see. And then there's also Zach Wheeler, who is 40 years old at this point and currently on a rehab assignment, I'm assuming. Yes, he just came back from a torn labrum at age 40, and now he's rehabbing in AAA. So yeah, he hasn't even pitched this season yet in the big leagues. He's rehabbing with Worcester. He's got 3 starts down there. He has been good the past few seasons, but he just tore his labrum. So really, it's just Mazinski and Grayson Rodriguez are the guys that we're looking to possibly acquire, and like Grayson is the rental. Mazinski is probably the better pitcher that I like. I mean, he's that high control, high movement. I mean, he's exactly the type of guy that I like to acquire. I just don't know if we want to have another year of him, but let's see what it would take to acquire Mazinski. And they're also cash strapped, so I would probably have to give them something legit to like make the money work as well. What if I give them something? Oh, and also I should say that Ben Gardenhire is currently back from his injury. He expects to play in the major leagues. He might be a guy that we call up and let start for a bit for us in the big leagues here down the stretch and see what he's about. Maybe move Prelip back to the bullpen and then open up 2 spots where Prelip's spot gets taken by one of these guys and then Estes' spot gets taken by one of these guys that we acquire. We also have somebody like Dax Hardcastle, who's only a 40, but he's in Double-A. He expects to be in the big leagues. He's apparently fine with his role, but he expects to be playing in the big leagues. He's been dominating the minors the past couple seasons, really ever since he came into our organization, aside from his first year in 2027. He's been dominating the minors, and he's not improving to the point where, like, you look at his ratings, you're like, this guy can pitch in the major leagues. I mean, his ratings do not look like they're good, but I don't understand what they did with this game to where no one develops, no one shit ever fills in, and then there are some people who just constantly have the potential there, like Jerry Harris, and he's hitting like his potential is filled in. It makes no sense. So, like, Hardcastle's 23, he's a guy who is going to have to be added to the Rule 5 this offseason, so, like, is he gonna... I guess he has been improving quite a ton. So maybe we do want to hold on to him and see if he keeps improving, and maybe he's a dude for us next season. But like, I would not be opposed to giving them like Ramon here, but I can't even do that. I would need to give them somebody who makes the money work. So yeah, or no, I can't even do that. Or what if I give them Ramon and then I throw on one of these contracts that we've given to somebody that doesn't really look the best anymore, like Joey Estes? What if I give them Joey Estes' contract? It's very team friendly, obviously, but like, he hasn't turned into anything. He's never really shown that he's like an actual dude for us. So like, what if I say, hey, Joey Estes, that'll make the money work? That doesn't really do anything for them. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to pick up Carmen Majinski here. Retaining 30% are going to be the Rangers, and that's mainly just so we don't have to pay the full 18.4 for next season. So we're going to get, it's like, yeah, $5.5 million off of that for next season. Plus, it's going to help us make the money work for the rest of this season. Plus, they're getting Joey Estes, who's going to help us make the money work. And then also, he's a plug-and-play guy for them. So they're going to have him on this team-friendly deal. And he's a plug-and-play starter, bulk reliever option for them. They're also going to get Mike Fitzsimmons, who was like the main piece they were interested in. Basically, once I added Cruz and Estes, Fitzsimmons popped up. So I added Fitzsimmons. Cruz is a player who I think should be higher than a 45, honestly. You look at these ratings, especially with the potentials, how he's been performing. I feel like he should be a 50, but he just isn't for whatever reason. And then, he's a guy I'm totally fine giving up. Maybe it'll bite us at some point, but for now, I'm fine giving him up. So De La Cruz and Estes going to the Rangers. They're also going to get Mike Fitzsimmons, who's one of those like 15 relievers that we took in the 2029 draft. He is currently in Double-A, pitching extremely well for a second straight season, and we just have so many of these guys that I'm totally fine giving up one of them. And then they're also, the deal would have gone through if I just gave them these three, but then I was like, with the retaining and these sort of guys, we're also going to give them somebody who could give them some starting innings, somebody who's never going to make it to the big leagues for us, but could make it to the big leagues for them. A 16th round pick for us in 2028 out of the University of Hawaii, Ricardo Martinez. He's had back-to-back solid seasons in Double-A, and looks like he could be a decent starter, maybe like a fifth guy for them. Give us some bulk, high movement control. We all know I love these types of guys, but this guy will not be on our team. So these four guys being sent to the Rangers for Carmen Majinski, and he's going to join our staff for the rest of this season and next. Alrighty, so here's what the rotation is going to look like right now. Once again, this spot will be taken over by Kirby once he comes back from his couple rehab assignment starts. Then it'll be Fluky, Majinski, I got to get that down, Majinski, Connor Prelip, and then Jerry Harris. So we have some space out between all these followers. We don't have them going back to back. And then Harris is like our fifth guy, so he's going to be viewed as the fifth guy. I haven't sent down Prelip yet to give Ben Gardenhire a chance in the rotation, mainly because Prelip's going to go to the bullpen, and I just don't really know who to send down at the moment, so I'm basically just waiting until something becomes more obvious, because, like, Varland, he's not going to get sent down. He's opening for us, pitching well, and he's had three options. Santos is an opener. He's not pitching the greatest, but he's an opener for us. We're not going to send him down. Sakura's actually been pitching much, much better as of recently. He's been dominating here in July in the bullpen, so we're not going to send him down. Rodriguez and Rogers are high leverage guys, same with Ortiz and Hollick. And Alcia, he has been good in the ERA has not been great this month, but the past 2 months, the FIP has been really, really good. And he's been pitching quite well. I'm looking at spring training here, but the past 2 months, he's been really, really good with the FIP. And just been a solid reliever for us the past couple months. So he's going to keep playing for us up here. So basically the only guy who's not pitching well is Luke Little. And it's like, do I really want to DFA Luke Little? He just won the Reliever of the Year award last year, but he's been horrible this year. He's definitely the most obvious guy to send down. He has options, but he's played enough time in the big leagues to where he can refuse an assignment. I've already tried. So, see, boom. He will refuse the demotion. So, just kind of waiting until maybe somebody gets hurt or something. But until then, Prelip's going to keep being in the rotation, and Gardenhire will keep pitching in Double-A. Maybe we'll call up to him to Triple-A and see what he could do in there while I'm waiting. But for now, we're going to keep rocking with this rotation here. And like I said, Rodemaker will be taken over by Kirby. And we'll see what this team is looking like here at the end of the season. And Majinski comes over and just does exactly what we expect him to do. 6 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 7 Ks in his debut with the Nationals. 6-4 victory here over the Marlins as the bullpen gives up 3 runs. With Sakura, who of course, right as I say that he's pitching well, has a performance like this, but we still get the win nonetheless. Is Jerry Harris starting to figure it out, folks? Boom. First start of the month of August. Jerry Harris, 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks, gets it done in a 2-1 victory over the Phils. And honestly, folks, this Rademacher guy, I'm really starting to like this dude. He comes out here, we win a 13-inning thriller over the Phillies here. Unfortunately, we dropped the previous game because Connor Prelip stunk it up in his follower opportunity. Luke Little had a horrible relief appearance. But then the next game, Rademacher, 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks through 6. Hollick, Ortiz, Rogers, and Rodriguez shut the door. Fantastic stuff. You know, he's one of these guys, you look at his ratings and you're like, we already looked at his ratings compared to Kirby, and they're very similar. And he's just kind of a guy who looks like maybe he just kind of outplays his lack of stuff with his control. I mean, he's had some decent run values here in the big leagues, some walk percentage. Everything else looks terrible, but I mean, he's pitching well right now through 5 starts. And I really don't want to do this, but Luke Little's just been so bad we have to. Luke Little he's getting out of here. people are still valuing Luke Little. Luke Little has been claimed, so we made the decision to waive and DFA him, and he's not going to be able to go down to AAA because he's going to refuse that. Some of the underlying stuff with the contact percentage and the K percentage and the fastball velo is still there, but I mean, he's just been so bad this season that we can't keep plugging him out there when we need to open up a spot in our bullpen. And he's the odd man out. So he wins the reliever of the year, gives us a couple of good seasons in our bullpen, and now he's going to go play for somebody else. Alrighty, folks, we have reached the end of the 2030 campaign, and as you can see, we have handedly won the NL East division with 93 wins on the year, 10 games in front of the Philadelphia Phillies, taking that NL East crown. We did indeed finish with the best run differential in the National League with a plus 160. Not quite the best in Major League Baseball, though, as the AL East has the New York Yankees with a plus 185, and then two teams behind them also with plus 100 run differentials, so quite a stacked division. And then even the Blue Jays with a minus run differential managed to win 85 games. But yeah, we were the best team in the National League. Let's see if that's how it's going to shake out in the postseason here, as we're trying to at least get back to the LCS for a third year in a row and potentially get over the hump and into the World Series. That's the goal. And now just taking a look at how this Nationals ball club performed, we were extremely good in the months of July and August. A bit slower in September, but actually below 500 in June, surprisingly, but really, really good post-trade deadline, or I guess into the trade deadline and then post-trade deadline to secure this lead of the NL East, as you would expect from the best team in the National League. So taking a look at the hitting side of things, lots of single digits as you would expect to see here. The third best slugging percentage, fifth in OPS, second in wins above replacement, sixth in WOBA, the second most runs scored in baseball, or in the National League rather, second most extra base hits, the most home runs tied with another team in the National League, fourth most walks, and then we do strike out a ton, as that has just been one of our problems. We strike out a ton, but we hit a ton of home runs, just how it happens when you have a ton of power like that. Very rarely are you going to be teams hitting this many home runs and you're not striking out a ton. So, we take it for the home runs. And then we're also having a very good base running season, second in the National League. Not a lot of stolen bases, but the base running itself, very, very good. And then on the pitching side of things, the starters started to get a little bit better as the season went on, but still not super, super great. Seventh in the National League, but overall, the best ERA in the National League, and then the best bullpen, as you would expect, the least amount of runs allowed from this Nationals ball club, the fourth in WAR, third in hits allowed, third in opponent's average, the best BABIP, third in home runs allowed, third in base on balls. We don't strike at anybody. That's just what we do. We don't give up home runs. We don't give up walks. We don't give up runs. And we play top-notch defense. Second in defensive efficiency, first in zone rating, and second in errors. That's what you come to expect. Elite bullpen. We don't walk people. We don't give up home runs. And we play really, really good defense. And before we actually go over the individual parts of the team here, I do wanted to talk about a couple injuries that we have. Cameron Majinski, fortunately, only has 3 days left on his shoulder tendonitis. He did have a setback, unfortunately, with this injury. Isn't going to say that. It just has one setback. So yeah, he had a setback with this, unfortunately, but he will be back for the playoffs, so he'll be on our postseason rotation. As you can see, he was quite good for us in 9 starts post-trade deadline for us. And then the other injury that's going to harm our first round of the playoffs is Evan Hollick. Unfortunately, right at the end of the season here, September 26th, just a couple days ago, he gets shoulder inflammation, so he will be missing the first round of the postseason, at least possibly the second round, but hopefully not if we make it that far. But, his percentile rankings weren't the greatest this season. He did have some good run value on his fastball specifically, has some good swing percentage. Strikes out a lot of guys, but definitely some room for improvement. But he is improving. He's having a lot of plus signs on his scouting page, and he was in a very high leverage role, pitching a ton of innings, and ends up getting hurt at the end of the season. But he was still very, very good. As you can see, 30 holds, 28 shutdowns. Very good reliever for us this year. As we take a look at the rest of the staff, sort by innings pitched here. George Kirby led the way with 152 innings pitched, a 3.5 win season. He had a 120 ERA plus and a 80 FIP minus, which is good for a 3.32 ERA and a 3.20 FIP. Doing his thing, doesn't walk anybody, doesn't give up home runs. You look at his profile and you're like, how the hell is this guy so good? But he does it once again. He's just, doesn't walk anybody, does his thing. And now we've got our own little mini version of him in Shane Rademacher, whatever this guy's name is. We purchased him from the Hagerstown Suns in the offseason because I noticed him in free agency. I tried to give a minor league deal. He ended up signing with the Hagerstown Suns instead, so I was just like, fuck it, we'll buy him off him. So we purchased him from Hagerstown, and he was really good. In AAA, he had 3 wins in 17 appearances, 15 starts, and then we call him up to the big leagues, and he was good here too. I mean, you see a lot of green and teal on this page. He's not too shabby. You look at these ratings, they're not that different whatsoever than George Kirby. We've already looked at the compare player, but let's do it again here. Not a lot of difference between him and George Kirby here. You just have the longer track record with George Kirby, but Shane Rademacher, he might be on the postseason roster for us here because I was liking how he was pitching for us, especially down the stretch. And then you may also notice we called up Ben Gardenhire. You look at these numbers and you're like, oh, he wasn't that great. He had a minus WAR by 0.1 in 25 and a third innings through 5 starts. But if you look at his game log, it's mainly from his first start. His first start got absolutely rocked. 9 hits, 7 runs, 2 home runs. Then comes out to his next. He goes 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. All of them were unearned. So he got really unlucky that appearance. And then the next 3 starts, rock solid. 6 innings, 1 run, 8 hits, but 1 run. Next appearance, 6 innings, solid, 6 hits, no runs, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. So his most recent one, a little bit shaky, but still really solid, gets the win, ends the season with 3 straight wins and appearances. So he's also looking pretty decent for us. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Ben Gardenhire. And then I should also mention that Jerry Harris did actually get sent back down to AAA Rochester. And the bad thing is, when we sent him down, I got an email being like, the players are secretly thanking you for sending him down because he's a terrible locker room influence. So don't love to see that from the guy that we're hoping is going to be like the centerpiece of the franchise, our American Ohtani. So, yeah, don't love to see that. When exactly did I send him down? I don't remember. I guess it was mid to late August. Ended up getting 6 starts in AAA once going back down there, and he even gave up a decent amount of runs in his AAA start. So it wasn't like he was doing anything too crazy down there. And the bat started to slip at the major league level, as you can see. It got down to a 107 by the time we sent him down. If you look at his splits here for the major leagues, August and July really started to slip. June was really good when he first came up. And then his splits for the pitching side of things for the major leagues, it just really never came together. Jerry Harris, I don't think he's going to be on our postseason roster, but maybe he will be. We'll have to figure things out. But for now, I'm thinking Kirby, Rademacher, Fluky, and then either Gardenhire so I'm thinking Kirby, Majinski, Fluky, who's just kind of like our steady follower guy, who he kind of struggled in August and September. Maybe Fluky goes to the bullpen. I don't know, but it's going to be some variation of Kirby, Rademacher, Gardenhire, Fluky, and Majinski. The number 1 and 2 are going to be Kirby and Majinski, and I think Rademacher is the number 3. Honestly, I think he's proven that. But then taking a look at the rest of the guys on this staff here, Travis Sikora ends up with 125 and 2/3 innings. But a lot of it is in the bullpen, and plus he was a follower for a bit as well. So you look at these splits here, it's not just all these are not just as a regular reliever. Some of these are as a follower, but still much better numbers as a reliever than as just a true starter in only 6 starts. And as he just continues to really not be what we thought he was going to be. And he's another guy that we've extended prematurely that we're kind of locked into here through his age 32 season. Connor Prelip, he moved to the bullpen, and once again, his numbers are, you can't really just look at this, you have to go to his splits. And his numbers, it wasn't like he was even that great as a reliever and a follower. He did some relieving, he did some following, so this is a combination of both. But overall, a little bit better as a reliever follower than he was as a true starter. But he's another guy who really hasn't turned into be what we hoped he would have been, especially when he put up this 3-win season for us in 2027. I was kind of hoping that I was going to be like, he was going to be like a 2-3 guy for us. But, he's kind of struggled to really replicate a season like that since then. Edwin Alcia, he's another guy who's gotten a couple starts, a couple follower appearances, mainly just as a regular reliever, though. And his percentile rankings were actually pretty good. He's a guy who expects to be in the bullpen, but he might be a guy who next season we look to possibly move to the rotation. We'll have to see. But for now, he is a bullpen for us, a bulk guy in the bullpen. You look at his splits, obviously very, very good in the bullpen, and then only 8 starts. The FIP was actually not too bad, so definitely some positive things for Edwin Alcia to look forward to for next season. And then in the playoffs here, Cameron Flukie, we looked at him. He's possibly like the most disappointing guy. I don't know if he's like, you look at his stats and you're like, oh, this guy's the most disappointing from just a state of he's like the worst out of the guys we had expectations for. It's more so just like, man, he was like the dude we took in our first draft. First round, we were like, man, this dude's going to be something for us, and he's from Egg Harbor Township, and he ends up just being this kind of just guy he's a follower for us. And then as we showed, August, September, not looking good, giving up way too many home runs. And I just don't know if I want to have that in our bullpen or in our rotation heading into the postseason, especially if we have other options. And then taking a look at the rest of the arms, we've got Jose Rodriguez, who had 72 innings for us. He put up a 1-win season. He was quite solid in a setup, high leverage role for us. He's the one guy on the staff who can really strike guys out, and that's what he's on the staff to do, so he's going to keep doing it. And then we've also got Robinson Ortiz, who was really good for us this season. Put together a 1.5 win, 67 innings pitched. He was an opener for a little bit, but then moved into a stopper role for us and was really, really good in that stopper role. He's the lefty stopper. It was Hollick as the righty stopper, so we're going to figure out who's going to be the righty stopper now that Hollick is hurt. But Ortiz, he's going to go into the postseason as the lefty stopper here, and we'll see how things go with him. Then we've got Gregory Santos, who did his thing as an opener, got 31 starts this season, 43 total appearances, 61 innings. He was solid enough. You look at his splits, about the same with the starter and reliever. A little bit not great with the FIP this season, low 4 FIP, but overall we still like Gregory Santos. Taylor Rogers was very good in a setup high leverage role for us as a almost 40-year-old man. He is somebody who actually doesn't want too much to be extended, so we might look into doing that in the offseason, but before we get to there, we're going to have to open up some money somewhere, so we'll see if we're able to bring him back if we go if we decide to go that route. But this season, very, very good percentile rankings, was just a very good player for us on high leverage, so can't complain too much there. We already talked about Jerry Harris. Louis Varland, he was quite good as a opener / middle reliever / setup sort of guy throughout the season. The percentile rankings weren't the greatest, but he doesn't walk anybody, he throws hard, and he was effective, so can't ask for too much more than that. And then we also called up Bobby Matamoros because he was in AAA and just dominating. He was in AA, very good, called him to AAA, and then basically immediately got Player of the Month in AAA. So I was like, fuck it, let's put him in the big leagues. Once the September call-ups happened, we put him on the roster, and he's actually postseason eligible. So he was pretty solid in the big leagues too. Nothing too crazy with the numbers, but did give up a bit too many home runs, but only 5 innings. So Matamoros, definitely somebody who's going to be a part of our staff here. And then on the hitting side of things, this is quite a top-heavy team, I feel like, this season. We've got like 4 legitimate dudes, and then a bunch of guys who really struggled this season. James Wood, though, the guy is going to win MVP. 7.5 wins, a 178 WRC plus, 43 doubles, 46 home runs, 105 ribbies, 114 runs scored, with a 14.2 walk percentage and a 25 strikeout percentage, also swiping 30 bags. A 30-30 season for James Wood. League leader in all these categories. I mean, just an incredible, incredible player. Gets that huge power bump over the offseason, and it really, really pays off. I mean, what did I say? I was hoping for maybe 35 home runs. He delivers with 46 and leads the league with doubles for a second season in a row. Probably going to get his first MVP if you had to guess. And then also played a decent amount of left field for us and was not terrible. So we'll take that. He was at least serviceable in left field. And then Harry Ford, the heart and soul of this team, does his thing once again. A 5-win season for him. 121 WRC plus, 30 doubles, 14 home runs. Only swiped 16 bags this year at a not great rate, but overall still a quality player for us, obviously. As our catcher, Mike Sirota put together a 4-win season in center field. He ended up hitting third for us down the stretch, and he's going to continue to hit third. 116 WRC plus, 23 doubles, 23 home runs, scored 69 runs, also drove in 69 runs, and as you might be able to see on that page, he was a very good defender. 9.3 ZR in center field. He's got 89th percentile run value. We love that. We'll take it. And then we've got Angel Feliz, who finished league average with the bat this season. Wasn't his greatest hitting season, but a lot of this stuff is starting to fill in, and I'm starting to look forward to what he's going to be looking like next season. And really, what I really want to do this offseason is open up enough money to where we can extend Angel Feliz and give him like a legitimate, you're going to be around for a long time with us contract, because this guy is a stud. 4 wins. I mean, you could see the bat started to... Actually, the bat didn't really get better. I guess in September it was a bit better, but overall the bat was kind of underwhelming this season. But I mean, I just don't think the bat's going to continue to be overwhelming with these numbers, these ratings here. And then also, 94th or 97th percentile fielding run value at the second base position. Put up a 10 ZR at second base. Played a little bit of shortstop too and held his own there as well. So Angel Feliz, really, really good player. And then this is where things start to really drop off here. Cody Bellinger ended up back in the lineup. He, was okay. He was a little bit above league average, mainly was a DH towards the end of the season. His percentile rankings are still looking quite good. He's still got some pop. He's going to be a middle-of-the-order bat for us here in the postseason, but he's not going to be playing in the field. But aside from him, really, a lot of these other guys just had really horrible offensive seasons. Eli Willett's 2-win season, it's all glove, just terrible, terrible offensive player once again. And it's not even that great at shortstop. It's a 5.8 ZR. It's whatever. But he's out there to pick it at shortstop. We've also got Dylan Cruz, who was terrible down the stretch. We were playing against righties and against lefties down the stretch. Ended up finishing well below league average with an 85 WRC plus. It just was not good. It was not good for Dylan Cruz. Brady House had a horrible stretch, so we ended up playing Luis Hernandez at third base down the stretch, and they were both not good to end the season, so I don't know what we're going to do with the third base situation. Ideally, it's House plays, and Hernandez is the main backup infielder, but we might have to figure something else out. Who knows? And then Narvaez, backup catcher, whatever. Zahir Hope ended up not being that great for us. And then we already talked about Jerry Harris. And then Spencer Torkelson. I mean, I don't know what the hell happened with him this season. He ended up back in the first base role once we sent down Harris, and he just was not getting it done at all this season. I guess it looks like June, July as a bench bat did a bit better. August did really well, and then September really, really stunk. So, maybe he's a bit better in the postseason here. He's able to put it together. He's going to play, obviously, but... Spencer Torkelson, not a good season whatsoever. Oh, I should also mention with Zahir Hope, the numbers weren't great with him. He did play a decent amount against right-handed pitching this season, and his percentile rankings look pretty good. He has some good exit velos. His barrel percentage, his hard hit rate, his expected slugging, his walk percentage is all quite good. It just, none of it really came together. His home run fly ball rate was not good. Weird year for him. Weird player. But then quickly taking a look around the league at some of the league leaders here in Major League Baseball. On the hitting side of things, Dansby Swanson was your batting average leader in the National League. Spencer Horwitz also towards the top of the league. And then over in the American League, it was Jacob Wilson with the Las Vegas Athletics, putting up a 4.5-win season. Home runs leader was Quinn Holm. a 2028 fifth overall pick. Okay. No idea where this guy came from, but he apparently was a pick, and he's a three true outcome sort of guy. But even then, he's more than a three true outcome guy because he also has a bunch of BABIP and gap power. But he strikes out a ton. But who cares? He hit 67 home runs. That is crazy. I mean, he hit way more than Judge and James Wood. I mean, leading the National League was 46. The American League was 67. That is crazy. And then looking at the wins above replacement, you've got Ellie, Jesus Made, and then James Wood finishes third. All National League guys. The first American League guy is Gunnar Henderson. Definitely do not look up his high school. Stolen bases with 75 on the season was Ellie De La Cruz. OPS was Quinn Holm, and then James Wood. The hits leader, Jesus Made, and then James Wood. The runs scored, Aaron Judge in the American League, James Wood in the National League, James Wood with the most doubles in Major League Baseball, not just the National League. Triples is this Brandon Poor guy from Cincinnati. I mean, crazy. Cincinnati seems like they've just got a stacked roster. OBP, James Wood, slugging percentage, he was second, third in counting walks, third in ISO, first in OPS, fourth in win probability added, first in WOBA. I mean, just incredible year for James Wood. Moving on to the pitching side of things, Shane McClanahan of the Detroit Tigers with a sub-2 ERA. And you've also got Emiliano Teodo, who finishes with a 2.81 ERA. I lost it there for a second. 2.81 ERA. One of the best in the American League. The best National League pitcher was Juan Carlos Lara here, who was claimed off waivers in the offseason from the Atlanta Braves, and that puts together a 3.5 win season and might win Cy Young. I mean, that's crazy. And then wins above replacement, another crazy one here. Dennis Santana, or no, this is Dave Santana. This is the Dave Santana guy. I thought it was not Dennis Santana. It's the Dave Santana guy, the big Cuban guy that they signed in the offseason last year for an absurd amount of money. He puts together a 6.5 win season, which is the highest WAR in Major League Baseball. Majinski also ends up having the second best R WAR in baseball. That's good to see. And then Evan Hollick ends up with the second most holds in Major League Baseball, only behind Jojo Romero of the St. Louis Cardinals. And then on the fielding side of things, Willitson Feliz on the assists. Zone rating, Angel Feliz was fourth as a second baseman, which is crazy. First was defensive efficiency, Harry Ford. And he also had the second best catcher's ERA. So crazy stuff for Harry Ford. And then our middle of the infield in Feliz and Willits. And then just before we end things off here, taking a sneak peek at the playoff bracket here. Nationals, Dodgers are your buys in the National League. Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Phillies, and Cubs are your wildcard teams. While over in the American League side of things, it's the Yankees and Tigers as your bye teams, and then it's the Red Sox, Orioles, Twins, and Mariners as the wildcard teams.